guises and forms, but its primary function is to create terror and to remove you from a place of comfort. And I think that The Herd did that exceptionally well. So before we get to dealing with some of the deeper issues and themes behind the movie, could you all just please introduce yourself and just explain a little bit about your role within the production? Thank you.
Hello, thanks. I'm Pollyanna McIntosh and I play female captor.
I'm Dylan Barnes and I played the horrific male captor alongside.
John Campling, other male captor.
I'm Alex CF and I did art direction.
I'm Sarah Jane Honeywell and I played the horrible smug face cream girl at the end.
Charlotte Hunter and I played victim Sarah who gave birth.
Excellent, thank you very much. So the film was directed by Melanie, who unfortunately can't be here this evening, and it was written by Ed Pope. So I would just like to go to Alex to begin with, if you don't mind. Would you mind telling us a little bit about how you first became involved with the project, please?
Ed wrote the original script, which went through many changes, and Melanie, he approached Melanie because Melanie's previous films kind of always dealt with the subjugation of mostly women, and then their eventual kind of freedom and emancipation and dealing with things like rape, revenge. And anyway, so it was in good hands, and Mel's a vegan and Ed Pope is a vegan and animal rights activist, and he found it incredibly frustrating to try and communicate his feelings towards non-human animals, and needed a kind of vehicle to show the abject suffering and misery that 76 billion sentient beings go through every single year that results in their eventual death, and a way of communicating that through film. So Ed wrote this very awesome script, and Melanie adapted it into a film. So it's basically just a way of taking this concept, which many people are completely unaware of. Most people don't realise that cows have to be pregnant to produce milk, constantly pregnant, and their entire very short lives. And so it was basically taking that, how those animals experience those horrific situations, applying it to humans in a much more kind of digestible way for a lot of people who aren't aware of these things to be aware of them. So yeah, that was the point of it.
Excellent, thank you very much. If you wouldn't mind just handing the microphone down to the end. That's great, thank you. I just wondered, where did that come from? How did you bring that out? How did you create that performance? Because it really was spectacular.
Thank you. I think when you watch, we saw some clips at the end. Mel very kindly sent some research material over, much of that nature. And when you just see the horror that the cows must go through, they wear ear protectors. The guys that work in these places wear the ear protectors because the cows make such a horrific scream when their babies are wrenched from them. I don't think that like you were saying, everybody in this room has to have been touched in some way by what we've just seen, and you can't help but be touched by it and therefore process it and then want to share that. And that's our job as actors and storytellers, and so I don't know, but it's horrible. I really hope I don't have to do it again very soon.
I can imagine so, because I'd say as an actor that takes a great deal of energy to be dealing with subject matter such as this, which I imagine a genre audience aren't fully accustomed to seeing on a regular basis. You know, I think it delved a lot deeper than a lot of genre films go, which for me as an audience member was spectacular and very exciting. But I'd just like to start for a moment.
Hello.
Excellent. So, how did it feel to be the face of the evil side? You were just representing the dark side.
It was hard actually because I am a vegan,
right.
And that's why Melanie got in touch with me, I think. And I've done lots of animal rights campaigns, and so yeah, it was hard, and I feel like I'm the evil, sinister character. But I suppose in a way, you know, like we all want to look younger, and we all strive for that perfection, and to what lengths will we go to get that. So it was a good role to play to make people think, but I'm not used to playing a glamorous role, so that was hard. I had to dig deep.
Absolutely. Yeah.
More?
No, that's perfect. Thank you so much. Alex, can I just ask you a very quick question about the art direction in the film? I mean, obviously you were going for a very dilapidated, a very harsh look, and I'm just wondering what specifics did you bring to that area of the production?
Well, we were really lucky because Mel found a disused dairy farm for us to film it. Like the whole thing was, it had to be completely gutted, and there was a massive pile of bricks that had to be removed. And a lot of there was some really lucky, because obviously when you work on a film like this, you have zero budget, and the budget we did have was kindly donated from a crowdfunding campaign, and so we had very little to work with. So it was just a lot of kind of using what we had around us, and also constructing things from scrap. And we even at one point an ex-farmer turned up with loads of like milking equipment, and we were like, no, it's just too much. Like he was like, it's worth a lot of money, so don't damage it. So that was one of the main. But it's we were very fortunate to actually film where this happened, where these occurrences happened. So yeah, but yeah, I guess it's just filthy. Everything had to be filthy. We spent most of our time making everything look really filthy.
Excellent.
So, but yeah.
Thank you very much.
That's all right.
Well, I know we've only a few minutes, so I'll move this along quite quickly, so hopefully we'll get to a couple of questions from you guys. So we'll just continue down the line. It's probably the easiest way to work it.
Go on then.
Okay. Now, sir, that was horrible.
Yeah, it's a horrible story, and obviously with a strong basis in truth, as it turns out in the end. So.
Now, was this the first time that you've all seen this?
Yes.
I think so you're probably feeling the impact that this audience are feeling right now.
I haven't had a chance to process. Had to come up here on this stage.
I know, as did I. I got the hug.
Guys, step forward a bit. You guys in the light.
So, what are your thoughts, having seen the piece for the first time?
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's I want to see it again. It's always when you see something for the first time, when you're in it, there's a certain aspect of you that's thinking about your part slightly. It's kind of only natural when you're an actor, and there's a huge build up to being in something like this, and then there's a long gap, and then there's tonight where you see it, and you're trying to process all of that build up and all of that work on the days that you're filming while you're watching it. So I find I like to try and see things in a couple of times before you can watch it and actually see the film the way that someone who's not connected with it will. But what I saw, I think it got the message across.
I think so. I hope that you picked up on the energy in the room and the sort of tension that existed in the room towards the end, because it was certainly present. Thank you. Sir.
Yeah.
So, first of all, what was this like to shoot? I mean, this looked intense in every single scene. There was no let-up. Obviously, you're working within a short time frame, so the message has to come across very quickly. So, how did Melanie put this to you as actors?
I mean, Melanie was great. She really gave us free rein to do what we want. I chatted to Melanie about the part, as we all did before we started, and she was just like, be as horrible as you can, I talked to her about like being a bit of a misogynist in it and bringing that element out. I don't want to carry on talking about what everyone else has talked about. I think we've got that, but I really wanted to put across the misogynistic character that he was. He was a really evil guy. I can imagine that there's people who work in these places who are just the same. They take great pleasure in, murdering and killing innocent animals and stuff. And I think for my part in general, I was the lower level guy, so I was the one who vented the most, throughout the film. But yeah, it was intense when we did the baby scene. I think we shot that about 4 or 5 times, and each time it was hard work. It just got worse and worse because the prosthetic baby was so real, and I had to take a few moments. I would have murdered a pint, about that time.
I could imagine so.
It was pretty intense, I can tell you. But, I mean, it wasn't hard in a way because the cast were great. And you only had to watch, Charlotte's performance when that was happening. You were just intrigued, and these 2 guys was just a pleasure to do. It was wonderful to work and do that,
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. So just one final question. Yep, for Pollyanna, before I open it up for a moment. So Pollyanna, do you think this is your darkest role so far?
In many ways it was working on it, to be honest, because she's pushing down all all the horror that she's creating, all the cruelty she's administering on these women, and yeah, it was horrible. Don't even really want to talk about it. Really fucking sad.
Yeah.
But you know, it's an angry movie, so it was worth it.
Well, it's a film with a message, and I don't think that people should shy away from movies that have, you know, an underlying point to make. And just before we wrap up, I'd just like to see if anybody does have any questions for the people involved with this piece. You're all still shocked, aren't you? You're just... well, one thing I will ask, is there anywhere that people can go to find out more information about some of the issues that were addressed in this film?
Oh.
Well, there's Viva website, which is pretty good, and obviously there's Peter, but I think pretty much Viva is...
Yeah, Viva's good. There's lots. There's plenty of films. So check out the Earthlings movie, and then if you want to stray away from watching endless pictures of animals being tortured to death, you can watch things like Forks Over Knives, which kind of educates about the benefits of a plant-based diet. And you know, I mean, there's so much information out there. I mean, Harvard just released this statement about how we shouldn't be drinking any kind of mammal milk because it causes osteoporosis. So if you don't give a shit about the animals, give a shit about yourself. So I think there's lots of information if you're interested.
Yeah, I would say this is, that was pretty horrific, but if you dig deeper it can get more horrific, so maybe don't dig deeper, just read some leaflets and let that be enough for you. That's what I'd say, otherwise it will burn your retinas, the truth.
Okay, well guys, thank you so much. A very real slice of horror to kick off this evening's entertainment at Grimmfest, and I'd just like to say thanks to everyone for coming along.